Hello team, welcome back to another lesson of contract law. This is the lesson 5. So in this lesson, we will be learning about capacity, void contracts, voidable contracts, as well as misrepresentation. That's the idea. So up to now, we learned about agreement, offer and acceptance, intention to create legal relations, and then consideration, validity. So this is the final element left, which is capacity. That we will be starting now. So let's get about the next. Uh, for example, in Sri Lanka can only be done by a person registered with the Institute of Chartered Accountants. No other person can function as an auditor or an accountant in Sri Lanka unless he has that qualification. Imagine practicing a lawyer. You have to have the attorney at law certificate. Otherwise, you don't have the permission to function inside the court. So likewise, right? So capacity of the person is limited, contract to contract. Not every adult can make every kind of a contract. You have to have, for example, to be a driver, you have to have the driving license. That is a capacity. It goes on into many contracts as well. But we are focusing on two things. Take a look at minors, people under 18, right? They can't make contracts. Whatever the contracts they make, they are not valid contracts. Imagine a minor buying some food from a shop and decided not to pay. No legal action can be taken against a minor. Imagine a minor traveling in a bus and runs away without paying money. No legal action can be taken against a minor because he has no capacity to make most of those contracts. He can make contracts only for necessities. Atyavashyama deva, like buying a bun from a shop or a lunch packet from a shop, a book from a shop, yes, then he will be bound. But any contract of a higher value, he has no duty to follow them. Minors have to make contracts with their guardians. They cannot make contracts alone because they don't have the capacity. Same goes for people suffering from mental impairments. They also need to work with a guardian in order to make a contract because they cannot think correctly alone. So they need a guardian. So types of contracts. Some of the contracts are valid. Yeah. Most of the contracts would be valid. That means according to law, all the elements are there. So it's contract okay. Then there'll be other contracts which are not valid, meaning void contracts. Parangu nati kiviso. Another one is voidable contracts. Let's try to find out what they mean. What's a valid contract? Yeah, all the elements are okay. Agreement, intention to create legal relations, consideration, capacity, validity. If all the elements are perfect, yes, then it's a valid contract. It's an okay contract. People can do the contract and do the work, exchange cash, complete the work, and all that is possible. It's a valid contract. If something goes wrong, they can even take legal action against the other party. Then the opposite side, the void contract. What's a void contract? A contract where at least one element is missing. Imagine a minor buying, let's say, something like a computer from a shop. He has no capacity to buy such an expensive thing. So no legal action can be taken against a minor also, right? It's not a valid contract. You can take legal action only for valid contracts, not against the contracts which are not valid. So literally the shop can't take any legal action to recover the computer even. Imagine minor filing a legal action to buy a mobile phone. Is it necessary for him? Answer is no. He is not bound by the contract. That means after buying the phone, if he decides not to pay, okay, the shop can't even take legal action against him. Such contracts a minor has to do, with a guardian, only with a guardian. Then, what are the valid contracts we discussed, right? Where everything is perfect. Void contract is where one element is missing. Imagine we buy a person buys a car, but he doesn't pay for the car, so the consideration is missing, right? Then other party can even take legal action. Imagine a person buys a car, and the money that was paid for the car bounces because the check is not valid. So then the earlier contract is not valid, void. He will have to return the car to the original owner. That's how. Voidable contract is valid, but one party has done a wrong thing in the contract. Due to that, the other party can stop the contract. Voidable means that stoppable contract. Imagine you making a contract with another party, and he has given you wrong information about the contract. Let's say you want to buy a house, and you decide to buy the house, and he's the one who sells the house, but about the house he has given you wrong information. What can you do? You can stop the contract even if you have made the contract by that time and demand your money back. So contract becomes voidable due to number of reasons. What are they? Misrepresentation, undue influence, duress. We'll be learning what they are. So contract can be stopped by one party if the other party does misrepresentation, or if the other party does undue influence, or if the other party does duress. Take a look at the two examples, please. This kind of contracts is common, right? Person threatening the other party and making the other party somehow agree to this party to make the contract. Contract made bullying, by force, by threat. We call it duress. Such contracts are not valid. Innocent party, if he has the firepower to say no to such contracts, he can take legal action and complain. These people made me agree by threatening me. I don't want this particular agreement to be valid. Please cancel the contract. I want my property back. You can do that. But of course, out of fear for your life and all, some people just stay silent, right? Without being, without putting up a fight against this kind of criminal way of making contracts. Second one is very common, undue influence. You say you're working in a company, your boss um, is very, much attracted to your car. Let's say it's a Volkswagen or a Austin Mini or something, and collector's item. He's very much into your car, and he offers to buy your car at a far cheaper rate than the market rate. Can you say no to your boss? That will be difficult, right? Because boss is your boss, and he can make your life difficult. He can, even fire you, right? So you may say yes to the boss, selling your car at a rate lower than the market rate. Why do you do that? Because you are scared of the boss. He could do stuff to me, bad things. So I have to be careful. It is that. So this is duress and undue influence. If you make a contract for duress or undue influence, yes, the other party can stop the contract. If the other party does this kind of a thing on us, we can stop it. These kind of contracts are very, very common, right? By putting